right, everyone. Good morning. I have got after 11:30 a.m. Central Time on my clock. We will go ahead and start recording. Welcome to the July session of the Daring to Learn webinar series. My name is Elena Boyd. I am an extension specialist with the UT Center for Profitable Agriculture. If you have been on Daring to Learn before, you probably recognize me from the reminder emails that you all get and communications about our webinar sessions from month to month. If this is your first time joining us for Daring to Learn, welcome. We have an exciting session ready for you guys today. We have Dr. Tim Woods with the University of Kentucky, who will be moving through the MarketReady producer training programs core curriculum. I'll give him a chance to introduce himself here in just a second. Kind of on the front end, just to give you all a little bit of information, these webinar sessions typically take an hour. Today we will be on for around an hour and a half. So feel free to come and go as you need, hop off or come back later if you need to. The full session will be recorded and put on the center's YouTube channel. And kind of as a front end reminder, I usually forget to remind folks about this in the beginning. If you are one of our Tennessee producers and you're looking for that Tennessee Agricultural Enhancement Program educational credit, there will be an evaluation survey at the end of the session. That will be a way for you to provide feedback about the session as well as mark your attendance for this session today. So I will go ahead and give Dr. Woods a chance to introduce himself, and then I'll pass things over to him.
Great, thanks, Elena. Appreciate this invitation to join the program. And Camille and I have followed the Daring to Learn program kind of from the sidelines from up north here in Kentucky. And we've appreciated the opportunity to collaborate with our folks at UT, NC State, and others on this dairy business innovation initiative. It's been a great program, great resource for producers and marketers in our state. And I know for a lot of the things that are going on there, the benefits of being able to collaborate with the Center for Profitable Ag folks, the Tennessee Department of Ag folks, along with our Department of Ag folks in terms of promotion. That's just been super helpful. We're looking forward to being part of the Value Added Conference here coming up shortly in Knoxville. And some of you may be involved in that program there as well. So yeah, we've got a lot of stuff we can potentially work through here today. I want to just also welcome some flexibility. What I would maybe encourage folks is we'll have the chat there. If you want to drop some notes or questions in the chat, encourage you to do that. We'll take a pause as we get through different stages there. And Elena, maybe you could help me kind of keep an eye on comments there that are in the chat, and certainly keep things informal. And as you have some questions about anything as we go along the way, it's you'll see this whole area of marketing is one that I get really excited about, and I think there's a ton of potential to continue to build on this for our dairy producers. Were you able to see that okay, Camille, Elena? It looks okay. All right, yes. So yeah, super. So what I thought we'd do is kind of go through this kind of background on dairy product marketing, and particularly thinking about why marketing our dairy products into some of our local markets might really be appealing at this particular point in time. Just tons of market opportunity certainly within the state of Tennessee and within the region. And certainly as we've worked with a lot of our producers in Kentucky, we see some similar local market opportunities. Camille and I have done a lot of survey work and trying to get some kind of background information on some of the local trends that we want to share along with you. And then the other thing that we want to try to pass along with you today, something that's been kind of fundamental with the MarketReady training program. We've had this program in place for a long time. It's really designed to try to help bring producers into a better understanding of what's involved selling to into a commercial market, selling to grocers, selling to working with wholesalers, selling to institutional buyers, restaurants, et cetera. And there are lots of particular things, lots and lots of best practices, key business functions that have been pointed out to us that we've tried to compile into this training program, and wanted to just land some of those key business functions and applications to the dairy space here in a presentation today, and certainly welcome your insights on this as we go through. This core training is really intended to provide a fairly high level overview of what dairy buyer expectations are around some of these key things like packaging, branding, business to business communications, et cetera. But we've also found that as we have moved into relationships with some of the different folks we're trying to work with, the need for advanced topic discussions. And so we've tried to put together some advanced topic trainings around insurance, around packaging, and some of those resources will be available on our website. And we're always looking for opportunities to do follow-up trainings. Elaine, I guess that's something I really appreciate about your Daring to Learn here, is it does bring in these other kinds of discussions that are more focused around some of these different marketing topics here for dairy. We do have a website. Encourage folks to have a look at that. It's a lot of information, and we've tried to organize material across all of our different communications with buyers, best practice activities, all of our other support activities that we provide for MarketReady with our producers. But the thing that we're kind of excited about is that there is specifically a component within the MarketReady very particularly dedicated to dairy resources. And so we'll encourage you to have a look at that page. We're trying to constantly come back in there and update, but there's a lot of information on resources and tools, buyer testimonials and things like that, that I think you will find helpful on that resource page. A lot of the things we're going to touch on here today will draw on that. And I may mention some resources that you can go back and find on this dairy resources page here. So I think maybe a good place to start is thinking about marketing, and it's thinking about differentiating your product in a very busy food space. Lots and lots of competition out there. But what we see increasingly from consumers is they're asking these basic questions, something we call a credence attribute, something that people value about the product, that they're willing to pay more for that product, but without some kind of certification or indication on the package, they can't tell if these attributes are present or not. And so increasingly, people are asking, who produced this product? How was this product produced? Where was this product produced? And so as a result of that, we've had a lot of different branding programs that have evolved, certainly around livestock product marketing, dairy product marketing as well, but across the board, and state branding, organic products certainly fall into this space. But the identification of your product as a locally produced product, different from some of the larger regional or national commodity products, is really important. And one of the things that I had been tracking for my many years working in this MarketReady training program, we would look at this green line here and this long, steady growth of interest of people just searching on their phones in a Google search, local food. And this green line has just continued to creep up. And I've had these conversations frequently with folks saying, is local food just a fad? Is that something that people only sort of care about casually? Well, we all know we got up to the time of the pandemic, and a lot of this interest in local sourcing, cottage food, artisanal food took a big spike. But even since COVID, we've continued to track that, and the ongoing interest in where our food comes from is really evident nationally. And so I think there's a really rich opportunity for us to think about the branding, storytelling, messaging that we can do with respect to our products in our various market channels. We have a lot of opportunity to differentiate products here to what customers are looking for in terms of food and place. We've done some survey work of food consumers up here in Kentucky, and one of the things that we found kind of interesting is just the frequency with which people are purchasing local products. The good news is that whether it's cheese or other dairy products or other sort of produce or local meat products, there are lots of different market channels that are available to us. That's the good news. The thing that is really striking for us, and this actually is consistent with some other studies that we've seen nationally, but a lot of the purchase activity is actually falling through what we call intermediated market channels, grocery and restaurants particularly. These are market channels that typically have either a wholesaler supporting them, or even if it's a direct store delivery kind of a program, you've got a marketing partner that is working with you to present those products out to the consumer. And purchase frequency of local products has still been by far dominated at people are getting them from the grocery, people are getting them at restaurants, growth in those other market channels. But we want to pay special attention to how do we do well working with our commercial market partners on selling local products. A quick kind of glance under the hood to kind of confirm what we had seen there earlier on that Google search shows the people that are purchasing local products most frequently, that is 11 times or more during the last 12 months. The number of folks that fall in that frequent purchase category has more than doubled in the grocery space and more than tripled in the restaurant space from just before the pandemic until just recently. And again, to me, presenting a really important opportunity for us to label, brand, identify our products as locally sourced, locally produced into these local markets that are looking for them. Just a couple of more very quick background things. As we look at the intermediated markets again, we see even more frequent purchases that are taking place in more urban markets. And so if we were talking about this in the context of Tennessee and places like Nashville, Knoxville, Chattanooga, Memphis, these are going to be really important markets to have good distribution relationships, branding and marketing relationships, just like what we're trying to do in our urban markets here in Kentucky, working with those intermediated partners. The other thing is age also makes a difference, and it's kind of interesting to see. It's actually the more senior shoppers that are more frequently purchasing local products in the grocery space. What's interesting, I think, to observe out of this is that younger shoppers are the ones that are showing up more in the farmers markets, restaurant space, other kind of direct from farmers, CSA kinds of models and things like this, on-farm retail markets. That actually, to me, feels like good news if we're talking about folks that are marketing local products, in that younger consumers are looking for these kind of direct to consumer kinds of relationships more. And so the importance of branding, the importance of getting the right message out there with our dairy products to our consumers, at the very least, identifying the local aspect of this is something we want to convey. We did another survey, just some quick results out of that relate very particularly to dairy value-added products that I think you folks might find kind of interesting. You can see here at the top of the list, this is folks that pay attention to different kinds of messaging on a label as they're going to shop. And at the top of the list, in terms of what people always pay attention to, is whether or not it's local. 31% of the folks say they always pay attention to that. Things like natural, also animal welfare are also important, along with the kind of local branding, at least in Kentucky with our Kentucky Proud program. So again, just the continued evidence that we see of people really caring about the geographic location where these products are coming. They're looking for the farm story. They want to support their local producers. And so again, I think presenting a lot of good opportunity for us. We see roughly some slightly different things across different age groups. Kind of interesting to see in this case, the younger group may be a little bit less emphasizing the local and geography, but that younger group is emphasizing even more things like natural. They're interested in the animal welfare. So we try to keep an eye on some of these kinds of trends and demographics like this as well, in terms of what we might anticipate for future marketing and messaging. So we can talk about all these consumer trends. There's a lot more we can share. Encourage you guys, if you're interested in more of that, we've got kind of a fun little site on our MarketReady Dairy page that's called Milking the Data. We try to put up a lot of our survey highlights and things that might be of interest to you as you're thinking about your own kind of branding and messaging and kind of strategic planning, maybe with respect to how you're wanting to develop brands with some of your own products. So as I mentioned before, kind of moving toward our actual content and feedback that we had from buyers on how to work into these commercial markets, we see growth and interest in local food that spreads across all these different market channels. And most of you folks, if you're marketing some of your dairy products, may be involved in a number of these market channels all at the same time. Certainly the on-farm retail, farmers market space. We're seeing increasingly interest in home delivery models, in addition to some of these kind of commercial intermediated markets of restaurants, grocery, wholesaler, farm to school, et cetera. And so a question might come up, why are people valuing local? And it turns out, local is a complex attribute. Yeah, a lot of people are coming looking for local products because they're thinking about sustainability or land and environment. Perceptions of safety and quality fall into that bucket. Supporting your local farms and local farm economy, small farm heritage and some of the history behind the farms that people are looking to support, quality and health, citizenship and community. We see this support for community coming up very strongly in a lot of our farmers market research of why people are patrons of some of those different kinds of markets. And so a lot of great opportunities to kind of amplify or bring some nuance to this local messaging, depending on the market that you're working with. So I'm going to just kind of move through some of this stuff very quickly on this so I can get to the key business functions. But as we're moving into these more kind of relational markets, focusing more on developing relationships on kind of a long-term brand building relationship, this kind of column to the far right there in terms of emphasizing relationships in marketing is really where we're wanting to think of our focus. And so ongoing frequent purchase exchange, customer management, long-term focus, personal communications, fewer customers maybe, but this kind of ongoing dialogue and building some brand loyalty with our local customers here is sort of the pathway that we're trying to move toward in some of this local marketing. So as we think about the buyer expectations, as we have talked to, it's over 300 grocers, wholesalers, restaurant chefs, school food service directors, asking them these kinds of basic questions of what is it that you're looking for from your local vendors and how can they do a better job supplying you as a commercial buyer. And so we really have to come back to our position as a vendor supplier and say, what is the value of what I'm selling? What is my marketing plan to help bring products of value to my marketing partners? How do my buyer partners promote my local dairy products, and how can I fit in with what it is that they are doing there? Here is just kind of a different way of looking at this kind of a roadmap of the different kind of marketing channels and thinking of these folks that are involved in the grocery, restaurant, food consumer co-ops, and even working with wholesalers and brokers as marketing partners that are going to work with you to be agents representing your products to the consumer. How does the consumer, when they buy your products in the grocery store, know the story behind your product? The people that are selling that product need some help in being able to tell that story. And it can come through branding and packaging, point of sale materials, other social media. We're going to look at a number of those things here in a few minutes. So here is the kind of core list of key business functions that the buyers were saying. These are the areas, the key business functions that we really need to see our vendor suppliers doing a good job with. And when our vendor suppliers can do a good job with these things, it makes our job as sellers of these products much easier. It's much easier to tell the story. It's much easier to see higher inventory turns. It's much easier to have a stronger pricing model when these things are developed well. And so vendors that have developed some skill and some ability in these areas are going to have many more doors open to them by buyers if you've got your expectations kind of lined up with what buyers are looking for along these key functions. So what we're going to do today, just super quickly at kind of a high level, touch on each one of these business functions and what buyers are saying that they're looking for. And you can see at the top of the list here is communication and relationship building. Probably not a surprise to you that that's there at the top of the list, but what buyers are saying is that communication and relationship building takes place with all of these business functions down here. You need to be prepared to be in conversation and ask your buyer partners, what are they looking for with respect to packaging and labeling, with pricing, logistics, quality issues, business to business, things like invoicing and other kinds of transactions that are going to take place there. And of course, marketing here at the end in terms of the message support, the communication to the customers themselves about your product. There's a lot that you can do on this to become a better vendor, more preferred vendor supplier. So when we think about communication, we're talking about just communication about everything. Communication is important in any kind of a supply chain relationship between any buyer and seller. You think about a restaurant situation, and so they're communicating with their customers and they get feedback, something as very basic as the plates are coming back clean, so that they know that here's a recipe that people really like. This was really popular. Maybe this product was less popular. But getting feedback from your customers allows you to change up your product mix, your packaging, your pricing, what sort of things you're putting together, timing of things. You want to be responsive to communication that's coming back from your buyers. And so communication, of course, is you would expect it from buyers to you. Buyers are expecting communication back to them from you as a vendor seller to them. It's really important, especially in this space of local products to local markets, to have clear communication across the board of all these business functions. But one thing to emphasize here, we heard this quite frequently from a lot of our different buyers, is that as much as they love this local product and see opportunity there, they really need initiative from the grower, farmer, producer, supplier to let them know what the products are, what's unique about it. Tell me about some of the aspects of your product. Give me a sell sheet. Give me some samples. And so these are things that you need to be prepared to take initiative to let people know and appreciate. Here are the products that you've got. Of course, in communication, one of the things that we see very often now is the role of social media in digital communication. And so certainly it's true very much in the restaurant space. You'll see Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all kinds of different social media platforms that are used to communicate things, because these chefs love doing the storytelling around food. They're really looking to you, the producer, to help them with some of that storytelling, and to have those products, as they're presenting them in their restaurants, the storytelling is part of the value of the product that is coming out. And so for you to be able to have your own strong social media presence is especially important in this local products to local market space. We're hearing this more and more from retailers, as you'll see here later, and even in the grocery space. I think even in the farm to school space, really great opportunities to help connect young people to the story of your farm, the story of your products through social media platforms. People are just looking to food and food stories on these platforms more and more and more. We've got a little restaurant up here in Lexington called the Local Taco. Of course, they're sourcing all kinds of different products from their farms for all these different kinds of things that they're putting in their tacos. But you go up to the cash register and it's got here's our Facebook handle, here's our Twitter handle, now the X platform, but Instagram, Pinterest, all these different kinds of spaces where young people, particularly in this demographic around a university setting, they love to do the storytelling of food, but they also like to do the storytelling of their friends and their community and where they are, and taking pictures and telling stories of the products they're eating. This is just a really active space in the local products marketing area. And so hard to overemphasize the importance of getting a strong social media space to be able to do storytelling around your products. We've got some friends up here in the Frankfurt area. He's started a little grocery store and pizza hub that's called Locals, as you can see by the name of the store there. He's just opened a brand new store over in Louisville. So seeing tons of opportunity to market these local products through those spaces. And you can go into a store and you see, again, he's trying to showcase to his customers there, here are all the different places where I've got farms that are partnering with me, sourcing products into my store, and trying to do what he can to do the storytelling, and for people to be able to see with some authenticity and legitimacy, hey, these folks really do support farms. And if I'm interested in supporting local products, this would be a great vendor partner place to go to buy groceries. And so Birch has just done a super job building his whole marketing grocery platform has done really well with the dairy products, with ice cream and cheeses, fluid milk and others, with dairy products there as well. Of course, one of his big things is pizza. And so, of course, even all of their local ingredients there, they're sourcing from all these different farms and putting up a kind of a creative billboard of here are the local farms where we are sourcing our products from. And so for somebody that is kind of excited about really having a local pizza to support those local farms, this is a great way to communicate this. So we'll come back to some of the more branding, storytelling things as we get down into the marketing space. I do want to just kind of tick through a couple of these other key business functions just to emphasize a couple of other aspects that we were hearing from grocers and from restaurants. There's obviously a lot more that's done, and it's been really, really fun to go out and work with these different buyers and see the creative ways that they are trying to work to feature local producers in some of these different grocery and restaurant settings. Packaging and labeling is another key business function that we hear from these buyers a lot that is really critical for a local products marketing initiative to be successful. And so packaging and labeling, of course, is going to be important for multiple reasons, not the least of which is the labeling, at least, will be a really important signage or platform or storytelling space on your products themselves. But I just want to just touch quickly on packaging. Packaging is kind of a complex question, and it's one of those that we typically will have an advanced topic discussion around, especially with dairy packaging, because the needs are so unique and differ depending, of course, on whether we're talking about cheese or fluid milk or some other kinds of value-added products. But typically, the function of packaging is to protect the product, provide some education to the consumer about the product, and in many cases, to comply with different kinds of regulatory requirements that may be put out there by FDA, the state, the local health department, et cetera. And so packaging is trying to accomplish a lot of different things in preserving the quality of that product from your farm to the customer when they're purchasing it. Certainly, you want to understand what are industry standards with different kinds of packaging in terms of size, in terms of packaging type. And so institutional buyers, restaurants, schools even may have one kind of packaging they're going to prefer. Folks that are buying in a more retail setting might have a different kind of a standard that they're using. You want to communicate with them to understand what those packaging guidelines might be. Of course, depending on the different product, but again, packaging is going to be expensive. And so you want to be thoughtful about how much packaging you're going to invest in and understand the market that you're going into, whether it's food service or more of a retail oriented. But the point is you want it to be eye-catching and storytelling, and again, clearly signaling that this is a local product opportunity. We've got a kind of a fun little dairy operation up here, Boone Creek Creamery. Actually, I found these products out at a farmer's market, but they sell in a number of different retail, grocery, and some other places like this. They had a super product called a Scandinavian grilling cheese, which sounded great. I had to pick it up and try it. But something that could have been really helpful with that packaging might be some things like how to serve. I mean, they've got a little thing about serve warm with fruit, has the sort of the texture of pizza cheese, but already as you're seeing the packaging with something that's kind of innovative, you want to get some more information on how to prepare it, how to maybe use it in different kinds of recipes. So we'll come back to QR codes and some of that kind of thing later, but there are lots of great tools that you can put out there in your packaging to do some of that storytelling. Certainly what you really need to remember out of this MarketReady presentation that we're doing here today, promote your farm brand. I love the Pick Tennessee program. I love the Kentucky Proud program. We work really closely. Those guys are very important partners, especially in the grocery and restaurant space. But if you really want to bring some additional well-rooted authenticity of local products to your product, get your farm brand up there, help people that are customers there make a connection to your farm products very specifically. We call this farm estate branding, but it's just telling the name of your farm or your food business there that's going to be unique with that. And part of it's going to need to involve a good quality, easy to read label that's going to be connected with it, and something that consumers are going to be able to recognize in different kinds of markets. And so making that investment in that packaging really important. Well-designed logos are going to obviously complement your farm brand, the kind of value proposition that you're trying to communicate. But what is it about your farm that you're wanting to make sure that people are taking away or recognizing as they're seeing your brand or your logo? You guys know this just from when you do your own shopping. Customers see logos almost as much as they see the product themselves. And so I've got this example down here on the bottom right. I don't know if you can make that out or not, but Kenny's Farmhouse Cheese, which is one of our more well-recognized value-added dairy operations here in Kentucky. You could see his brand. But in the grocery setting, this other branding, it just says local. I love this local cheese. I love that the fact that that's local, but it doesn't tell the farm, and it just stops short of bringing that extra message of this is a farm that you're supporting, and here's where that farm is located, and here's what that farm does. So having a really well-designed logo can really go a long way to helping bring value to that customer. And what you'll hear from people in the grocery space, they love a good logo too. A good logo helps increase inventory turns. It helps increase customers' recognition and repeat purchasing of a product. And so making that investment in a well thought out logo for your packaging can really go a long way. We have a program up here that we point our Kentucky producers to, the Food Systems Innovation Center, that provides a lot of help with some of the packaging questions and some of the technical aspects about the food chemistry, food safety, some analytical services, depending on the kind of value-added product that's involved. If there are statement of ingredients or things that need to be provided there, or providing sensory evaluations of some of these different recipes that might be developed. Candy Williams is our gal that coordinates the program there. We do have Tennessee producers, but you guys also have a great program there, I know, in Knoxville with the folks there at UT that also have been doing a lot of this similar kind of work there. And so finding people that can help you with the technical aspects of packaging to make sure the product is being preserved for quality and shelf life and stability and value and eating experience, obviously is a really important part of that investment there as well. Many retailers are looking for UPC codes that are going to be corresponding with that. We've got a resource in our labeling site there on our MarketReady page on how to purchase UPC codes. Encourage you, if you're interested in that, have a look at that resource, especially as you're developing different flavors, different packaging sizes. You're going to need to buy a number of different UPC codes that are going to correspond with each different kind of product that you're providing and different product packaging sizes. And so happy to visit more on that as folks may be interested. So let's just kind of, in the interest of time, keep kind of working our way through some of these key business functions that buyers are saying, this is important for us. This wasn't just me coming up with some kind of idea of things you need to think about. This is what buyers are saying. You, as a vendor supplier, need to be thoughtful and prepared when it comes to these key business functions. So when it comes to pricing, what this means is that you need to be in a good position to negotiate for the price that you need, especially to cover your own costs. This requires some real knowledge of what it is that it's costing you to produce a particular product. And that includes delivery, it includes the insurance, it includes the additional packaging and branding and labeling and promotion that you're doing for that to move these products into a commercial market setting. Most buyers will appreciate and recognize when a vendor has that's smaller, working with local markets, may have a higher price point that they're going to need to make a market work. But even with that, you need to be able to communicate, here's why I need that higher price point, because it costs me more to do these small batch specialty kinds of products. And here's how this costs out. And for me to make a margin that's going to be worth my while to continue working with this business, this is why I need this particular price. Most buyers recognize to have a long-term marketing relationship with you, they need to settle on a price that's going to work for you as well as work for them. And that's what you're going to be exploring as you have conversations about price. One thing maybe to think about that I think maybe a lot of newer vendors moving into exploring these markets might not think about is that most of these buyers are thinking about price all the time. They're talking with all kinds of different vendors and exploring different kind of price points and opportunities. So they're used to talking about price. You shouldn't be bashful about talking about price and costs and margins yourself. So that's sort of the first point: is know your price, be willing to negotiate, think about pricing toward full cost recovery of all of your different costs, including your time, cost of getting that product to the market. Obviously, really important. Camille, that works with me here, has just done a lot of helpful work working with some of the fiber soap and lotion. We've got kind of a wide community of folks in the dairy spaces that have done some things with specialty soaps. And so thinking out about what those kinds of value adding activities might look like for there, we put together some budgets and worksheets, a lot of really good resources that are out there to help you kind of work through your costs and understand what those might look like as you're doing your promotion. One of my favorite, it's been around for quite a long time, but it's still a great tried and true publication for free. You can download it from our site or from the Center for Profitable Ag site. Megan LeFew was one of the authors putting this publication together. Really, really helpful for understanding break-even costs, margin pricing, small batch versus large batch cost sensitivity, and some really practical worksheets that are in there that could be helpful for some of you guys that are looking at some smaller batch production of some of your dairy products. All right, so we're clicking our way through here, making some progress, looking at these different business functions. I just want to touch very quickly on logistics and take these three together. Logistics, I think, is one of the more challenging things of how do I get the products from the farm or the place that I'm manufacturing them to the retail setting where the consumer is ultimately going to purchase those. There can be a lot of costs. There can be a lot of alternative strategies and some things to think about as we explore marketing relationship partnerships with that are going to be defined as viable or not viable, depending on the logistics. And so as we think about the logistics, some important communication that you're going to want to think about are minimum volumes that are going to be needed to do business with a particular buyer. Are there specific timing things that you need to consider? A lot of pre-season planning for special events, seasonal inventory needs, maybe special local feature functions that the buyer is wanting to do, where they're wanting to have a lot of your product available for the market that they're selling to. Planning well ahead. The earlier you can get into the conversation with the buyer about planning ahead, pre-season planning, the more flexibility you're going to have, the more flexibility the buyer's going to have to work with you about volume needs and just some of the distribution logistics. Once that product is actually being delivered, you want to be communicating with them on a regular basis. So certainly email, cell phone, texts, and things like this are important. They want to be in close communication, so there are few surprises that are coming up as that product is being delivered. Don't forget, though, as you're continuing to grow your product base and grow your business, as you start to introduce other kinds of products, let your buyers know you're wanting to maybe pilot a new product, or you've got a new project that you're working on that could be of interest to them. Let them know about other sorts of products that you have. As we have talked with a lot of our different buyers and producers in this space, there are a range of different approaches that people have for delivery. Most of the folks, when they're smaller and just starting off, do a direct store delivery, this kind of own delivery, direct to retailer. But a lot of other opportunities are out there where there can be shared delivery with other producers. We've got a fluid milk producer up here in Kentucky that also brings cheese, and some other folks that have refrigerated trucks that are able to source multiple other products that are needing to be refrigerated on those trucks, shared with other producers to help get those products to different retail spaces. So talking with other producers about where they're moving some of their products, and are there ways to cooperate with other producers to help with some of that distribution lift. Pre-arranged pickup points, especially for restaurants, if you're selling at a farmer's market setting, for example, or you have an on-farm retail market, to have pre-arranged pickup points for chefs or for others that could pick product up. But the bigger you get, the more you're going to want to start thinking about either a third-party delivery or wholesaler or distributor partner that can help you with that distribution. We have some wholesalers that work with some of our retailers up here that really do a great job sourcing from a wide number of producers, but they're also selling to a wide number of institutional markets and grocers that allows them to have a much wider reach than you might be able to have as an individual farmer. And so, of course, each system is going to have its own benefits and costs, but as you get bigger and you start to think about some of those new partners of a third-party delivery or wholesaler, talk to some of your other producer partners and talk to some of your grocery or restaurant folks about who is it that they're working with when it comes to some of the local sourcing programs. I'll just reiterate again, with we were talking about pricing earlier. Supply and delivery and logistics has a significant cost that's connected to it. When you get into having your own refrigerated truck or panel van doing that delivery, people love to see the producer showing up with the product. They like that human interest connection. Buyers get excited about that. But you're going to have to really sharpen your pencil to understand what are the costs associated with these different delivery options, and how do I do that efficiently? How do I make the best use of the equipment, the trucks, the people that you're hiring to help get that delivery put in place? In some cases, we have some in retail coolers or freezers that are maintained by producers in kind of a delivery stock maintained relationship. And so while those present some great opportunities, you want to make sure those are going to be fully stocked and well inventoried, and that the producer or that the buyer is able to have a relationship with you as a producer that makes that a viable thing in the retail store. One other thing to think about is you are always marketing. Even as you're out distributing your product, think about truck magnets, van wraps, trucks or truck wraps and things that are going to go on the side of a refrigerated truck or freezer truck that can point people back to you and your farm and you as a vendor supplier. Promote your product as you're out delivering around the marketplaces. All right, so I just want to say a couple of things about some business to business functions. Many of you that are already active selling your products may already have this well sorted out, but a common concern that we have heard from a lot of our buyers is concern around the vendor readiness around invoicing. Of course, electronic invoicing is much more common today, but you want to communicate with that buyer what sort of invoicing system are you using. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the invoice now that's going to contain this basic information for every transaction that will have your name, address, phone number, digital contact, internet contact, product description, weight, product cost, and each invoice is going to have a transaction date and invoice number that's going to correspond with that particular transaction. You want to have an invoicing system that is going to allow you to manage these transactions. In that invoice itself, of course, while you're wanting to track detailed data about each one of these transactions. So each invoice has a unique number. So if there's a question about a payment or what products were included or what date was something delivered on, you and the buyer can both go to that specific piece of transaction information and make sure you're on the same page. But what you want to have is a system so you can look at a collection of invoices together and use that in your kind of management thinking about how much sales activity am I having with this particular customer? How is my payment relationship going with that particular customer? How am I doing with respect to pricing with this customer versus that customer? Lots of great information that you can pull out of your invoicing system. Just like on the delivery though, let me just also remind you, even on your digital invoicing, get your farm logo displayed prominently on those invoices. So a good invoicing system can really provide a lot of great information for you, and it will signal to the buyer that you're a professional vendor when you've got a good invoicing system already in place and can adapt readily to the invoicing system that buyer is using. Just communicate with them and ask them about these kinds of questions. Insurance is just another key business function. And I know we're kind of going through a lot of these business functions kind of fast here, a little bit to absorb, but especially when we're talking about dairy products and value-added products like this, where food safety concern and quality assurance is really top of mind for a lot of these buyers. They want to know that you have your insurance house in order. They want to make sure that you've got appropriate product liability insurance in place that can help mitigate any kind of concerns or emergencies that might come up with your product down the road. Obviously, it's a very positive thing to be able to mention to a buyer, here's my insurance company, here's my coverage. The buyer typically keeps a vendor file folder where they're putting the insurance information, other kinds of certifications you might have as they're looking to develop that relationship with you. At the very minimum, you're going to see typically $1 million product liability coverage expectation, especially with dairy products. I wouldn't be surprised if you see $2 million expectation or even higher, just because of the food safety concerns that are connected with some of this, and the commitment on the part of these buyers to want to make sure that they're protected and that their customers are protected. Just ask them about what that is going to look like. We've prepared a really nice, what I think is a really nice kind of a checklist, kind of a self-guided tool that if you get on our MarketReady website and look under the insurance information, there's a insurance checklist, kind of a list of questions that you would want to have as you go and talk to your insurance provider, certainly about things like product liability, but there might be other insurance questions that you have. Communicate with your insurance provider about all of your business activities. Are you taking vehicles off the farm, and are you delivering into different kinds of markets? What kinds of vehicles are you taking off? Are there some of your employees that are involved? Keep the surprises to a minimum when it comes to communicating with your insurance provider. And again, this can be a complicated topic. We've used this business function also as one of those advanced topic places, but we've tried to provide a lot of additional information, quotes, suggestions, tips, other insurance ideas in our part of our website there that talks about insurance on the MarketReady page. So I encourage you to have a look at that as well. Carl Cheney, that runs Cheney's Dairy Barn, sells a lot of ice cream, and as you can imagine, he thinks very seriously about insurance, and they are excited about some of the different market channels they've been able to develop through that. But he has this very pointed quote: insurance is simply a cost you have to sell to restaurants and other institutions. And so just like you're having to think about your costs connected with new distribution and logistics, new packaging and branding, insurance is going to be one more of those additional costs that you're going to have to factor in as you think about your pricing and you talk about these folks about, here's what my break-even price looks like, and here's what I'm going to need to meet the insurance requirements to sell into this market channel. So lots of other things that we could talk about, but just kind of in the interest of making sure we move through here, it'd be nice if we had just a couple minutes for a couple of questions here at the end. But I want to just reiterate here, especially in these local markets, the opportunities to work together to purchase inputs, to share in some of the distribution and logistics space, to think about some of the ways to do shared promotion of some of the dairy products that are located around Tennessee. We've certainly tried to do that with our folks in Kentucky. Shared processing facilities that folks have looked at for, I know here in Kentucky, we have folks that are working with a lead processor on fluid milk and some other kinds of cheese processing. I think there's a lot of opportunity to have producers that are seeing opportunities to develop certain kinds of products to work together. We know our dairy industry is relatively small compared to other parts of the country, and it just makes a lot of sense to be in conversation with other dairy producers or even other folks that are working with value-added products that might be complementary to some of the dairy products we're producing, as we're exploring being involved in markets, in festivals, and other kinds of local food promotion kinds of opportunities. And so just to put that out there a little bit, to think about working with other producers on building opportunities in these local markets spaces. The thing we want to just continue to emphasize as we land on this kind of last key emphasis, this is a market ready training. And so as you can imagine, a big emphasis around a lot of this is marketing. And so to reiterate the importance of social media, the Instagram, Facebook, other kinds of social media spaces, toward building your brand out there in the marketplace, build a following. A lot of these grocers and restaurants that we've talked with, they're much more enthusiastic about coming alongside a vendor supplier that already has a following, where people already know the story somewhat about the vendor that's bringing those products to market. But to encourage you also, look at other social media offerings that other vendors have out there around the local food space. Visit stores and see how they're promoting local products in their stores, and bring that into your own kind of thinking about your own marketing planning. Think about how the retailer may be also promoted in your own social media. So if you're selling into a restaurant or you're working with a school, doing some kind of feature in your own social media about celebrating that partnership that you're developing there. A few principles to think about when it comes to marketing is the importance in the local food marketing space of making that connection with the customer around human interest. People are interested in you as a farmer and food vendor. Seeing pictures of the farmer's face, pictures of their food, pictures of the place where those are prepared, pictures of your animals, your farm, all those things help connect in that storytelling way to the customer. And so as they're looking for pictures and little bios and things like that, that they as a buyer can put some of their marketing spaces into their social media spaces, don't be shy, and think about ways to help build that human interest connection. It helps to amplify that local storytelling. We had a kind of a fun function here just a few months ago where we had some buyers from Kroger, Meijer, some on-farm retail places, some other Good Foods Co-op, some other smaller retail grocery buyer, particularly folks that came to visit with some of our producers and talking about things they were looking for especially. And Sharon Welch is the key customer communications liaison with our producers there. They love local products. They are sincerely looking for ways to build local through their stores. And her big key idea was, your story is the #1 driver for success. And so for you to tell the story of what your business does and how it connects in with your community, that's what their store is excited about connecting to. That's why they're trying to promote local products. Kroger, of course, is a big national chain. Meijer is a big regional chain, but they're trying to bring the local community connection down to their local stores to the very best way that they can. And your local products present a really unique opportunity to be able to do that. But you have to have a good storytelling platform and a good storytelling message to be able to connect to as you're trying to get your products into their stores. Lots of stores have just done a super job. A lot of times the smaller retailers even do a better job promoting these local products. This one on the left is our little Good Foods Co-op that we've got up here in Lexington. They've got these little pop-out signs that are their point of sale, doing some of the storytelling around the fluid milk. And you go into the produce section and they've got signs all around with pictures and bios and physical locations on a map that show where the farm is located. And so the customer can really get a strong connection as they're going through the store about the local products connected with these local markets. Bakery products, other kinds of dairy products that you can see that are just well promoted with good signage, good human interest connection images that are there that help promote that storytelling and this sense of I'm not just buying a piece of cheese, I am buying a connection to supporting, voting with my food dollar for these local products that are out there that I would prefer to see more of. And so posters and signage, across these different stores have really been done well. Just encourage you to get out there and visit some of these different retailers to see what they're doing and who's doing a good job and how you might be able to fit in with some of the things that they're connecting with. More and more and more retailers are seeing some of that data that we looked at the very front about interest in local, that customers really all over the country are asking these questions about where did my food come from and how do I find and support my local farms and local producers, and more and more interesting promotions like this. This was from a couple of years ago, kind of a fun promotion that I really liked down at the Three Rivers Co-op down in Knoxville. It would show not just the kind of cheese, the farm that came from, the specific location that came from. It gave a nice description about the cheese, had some nice infographic things that provided a lot of very quick, easy to read, kind of fun as a buyer of local products way to find information about some of these different otherwise a little bit complex choices that are out there. A lot can be done by these retailers, and so working with them to complement the kind of local branding that they're trying to do in their promotion. This was a soap point of sale promotion that they had there, all the different kinds of varieties of soaps and what they could potentially be available for in terms of benefits for rough skin, sensitive skin, oily skin, fragrance free. What are you looking for? Let me tell you a little bit about the story of soap. And so customers are looking for these kinds of stories increasingly in the store, but also increasingly these stories are available through social media. And so what we've been trying to do with our Kentucky producers is help them in Instagram posts, in Facebook posts, do some of the storytelling and expansion of those human interest feature connections to customers in those spaces to try to build that local loyal following. A great, I think, still vastly underused tool out there is the QR code. Super simple, easy to use. We've got a free, it's a free tool. We've got a how to use QR codes, little guide, just a couple page guide. It's really very easy to set up. It's just connecting the customer to a website where you're going to tell a story. And so where people can see the story of how your product is made. I was just down visiting with a cheesemaker and getting kind of walked through how these different cheeses were made and how that product was being aged or handled or covered with a certain kind of a fabric. And the storytelling behind how those products were being made can be captured either in video or still shots, or you can use these for chef demos on cooking demonstrations, food pairings and recipes. Lots and lots of creative applications that are out there with QR codes. Visiting again with this other cheesemaker just to see how they were distributing their products all over the place. A really great thing you can include is what other places can I go to find these kinds of products? And so promoting your other buyer partners that are out there where people can find your cheeses, ice creams, other dairy products like this. Such a wealth of creative ideas, I think, that you can include there with a with a QR code that would fit, I think, in the local products to local market space. Would love to visit with anybody kind of interested in exploring that some more. We're seeing one of the things I think is kind of a fun development in the local dairy space is a big growth of the cheese and charcuterie boards. We have a lot of our restaurants that are kind of picking that up as kind of a way to make a connection with a younger consumer. But one of the things that we're hearing from not just restaurants, but also in the grocery space is people want more sampling experience, and especially with things like cheeses that are kind of unique. Working with the dairy farmer up here that has yogurts, I was just able to finally get over and sample some of his products. Sampling really goes a long way to help capture consumers' appreciation for the product. But your participation in the sampling experience as a farmer, food vendor, is part of that value that's there. And so we've done lots of survey work in the past where we've just been able to see what a huge impact sampling has when people try the product, and how it switches people's purchasing patterns and switches their intention to purchase after providing samples of that. Almost every retail grocer that we talked to said they want to see more sampling. It has to be coordinated. You need to go in there prepared, but it's a great way to build your marketing presence and build that kind of human interest connection that's going to be unique in this local product spacing. So yeah, just to finally bring it here to a close, the story building that you're going to develop, sharing that value with your customer, whether it's through your packaging and labeling, whether it's through your social media spaces, complementing other kind of point of sale promotion inside these stores, looking at ways to do that kind of value creation through storytelling around the local products that you have that are unique and they're special and they are valued by customers out there and they're looking for these local products. And so be encouraged, I think in terms of the demand and opportunity, but also be intentional about how am I going to develop this to get the right idea of the customers that you're selling to. You're not going to make the same kind of connection with every possible customer out there. There are particular kinds of customers that are really going to value your product, your message, and then think about how do I cultivate that message and build that kind of loyalty and awareness about my products while you're out there. So there we go. You guys have been super, super patient through a lot of stuff. We've got some other resources. I've made reference to some of these things here in the past. We're always open to doing advanced topic webinars. We're happy to work with Elena and others there at CPA in terms of promoting when we're doing some of those other advanced topic things. Hop on that website, see if there are some resources that might help you if you've got specific questions about some of those key business functions. There's so much more we could cover. Elena, we've done these MarketReady trainings where we've taken a whole day long to go through all this stuff. Bring in a buyer panel, bring in lots and lots of examples. There's so much behind a lot of this stuff. It's hard to cover it all in just kind of one setting. But let me go ahead maybe and stop there. I don't know if through the chat or through if people wanted to just pop in a question, if they had a follow-up idea or question about a specific thing. There's a lot of big information pass along there, maybe to digest in an hour and 15, hour and 20. But yeah, did folks have questions or thoughts about any of this?
Yes, for the folks that are still with us, feel free. We don't have anything in the chat at the moment, but you all are able to post questions if you have those in that chat box. There's also a way to raise your hand. There's a Q&A feature. So If you have a question that maybe you need to ask verbally, we can turn your microphone on and you can ask that. And while we are giving you all some time to think about those questions, I'll go ahead and pop up our evaluation form. And all right, so you guys should be seeing that green evaluation form now. My screen changed to make sure. Yes, yeah, we're looking at what we're supposed to be. And for folks that are still on the call with us, like I said earlier today, if you have sat through or participated in a Daring to Learn session before, you guys know the drill. Fill out our evaluation form. That feedback is very helpful for us. It helps us to identify speakers like Dr. Woods and the MarketReady team to kind of fill needs as you guys share those with us. So feel free to fill out that evaluation form. This will also track your attendance. If you are a Tennessee producer looking to get that Tennessee Agricultural Enhancement Program educational credit, this is how you record your attendance for these sessions. And we'll hang out for just a couple more minutes. That way, if anyone has any questions, you can ask those and feel free to pop those in the chat or get a hold of us somehow.
Thanks, Elena. And I did share along my contact information if folks wanted to follow up separately or they get on the MarketReady
Yes.
site and they're looking for some other additional information. Please, anybody, feel free to just drop me a note. Would love to hear from you or chat with you about some things you're exploring around your marketing journey.
Yes, and I will get all that contact information that Dr. Wood shared, as well as the links for the MarketReady program and some of the different websites that he mentioned. I will share those in our follow-up email. So if for the folks that are still with us, if you don't have any questions, feel free after you get your QR code or the link to the evaluation form, feel free to hop off as needed. But we will keep hanging on for just another minute or so and keep recording just in case somebody is still typing maybe. It looks like almost everyone has hopped off. We've got two folks left, Angel and Michaela. If you guys have, oh, well, we're down to one. So Michaela, if you have a question, feel free. I don't want to stop recording just in case you do, but we'll give her another minute or two and we'll see. But yes, while you and Camille are both still here, thank you so much for doing this. This will be really
Oh,
helpful,
absolutely. Happy to do it. Hopefully
especially to
there's some
have,
valuable stuff in there.
yes, yeah, definitely. And it'll be nice to have as a YouTube recording also. I feel like we get more mileage out of the YouTube recordings than we do maybe even in the live sessions, just because it's so
Yeah.
hard for people to
Yeah.
come.
Timing's tough for people to tune in at specific times. So,
Gotcha, Camille.
yep.
Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording because she has not given any indication.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We could
So
follow up afterwards if
sounds
needed.
good.